Swipe, 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 swipe. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Yeah, I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Swerving, making plays, put Ferrari red. Never out my zone, touchdown in my hands. Only fam around me, I can't have no friends. Had to cut you off, you left me out for dead. Ever since I was a teen, had prices on my head. Had to cut you off, you left me out for dead. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Yeah, I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Yeah, I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Yeah, ball point on the beat, ball point make them dance. Yeah, we came up from nothing, now we're making plans. Yeah, just picked up some bands, Tell her ask it questions when I come again. On the run like a runaway. Only way is the money way. New chain, no jewelry. No games, don't fool me. 21, been a boss. Take the game, pay the cost. Heard you rolling TikTok. Need to get another watch. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Yeah, I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Yeah, I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says.
Ooh, shout out to everyone in the chat. Let me see if I can get this camera action going. Hey guys, how's everyone doing? You know you're not late. Everybody's here. Shout out to my members. Thank you guys. Let's get going with this content. Number one, I've been fucking sick like crazy. I'm on this right now, this haul stuff. You know, been doing the neti pot. I feel like it's like a waterboarding situation at this point, trying to drain my nose and try to, do what I got to do to be here. I have a lot of uploads to catch up on. And while I've been sick, I've been watching a lot of stuff as far as the stuff that I've been giving commentary to, just to try to catch up, number one. So thank you so much, those that have been waiting for me, that have, reached out to me. I mean, I'm here. I'm here, and I'm going to be here, and we're here. And I got my people here. Shout out to all the 52 people that are here. Everybody, I'm going to get off camera real quick. But yeah, and you can see I still sound very congested. I don't know if you guys have noticed. So let's get to this commentary, because I'm just like, I've been watching this. And as you can see in the thumbnail, I'm going to do some commentary on the Ryan Upchurch with the Glare report, which shout out to him. He did allow us to use his stuff under fair use, absolutely, which we typically do. And it's so funny. Somebody said in the comments, a real rabbit hole to look into the Glare 10 to life and Sophie Long case, if only anyone's interested, or if anyone's interested. I have heard a lot of this. Now, I don't know a whole lot. I know about 10 to life. I don't know about the Sophie case. I know Katie of the Joy was talking about the Sophie case as it pertains to 10 to life. I know something about there being an issue with the Glare having some opinions about the way in which he stirred his commentary to that. Now, I don't have anything quite. I mean, I'd have to look into that. I don't know where I'm at right now as far as that goes. My commentary is strictly to Ryan Upchurch. And if you guys know, I mean, I'm all about assessments. I'm all about giving, like, if you're asking me my opinion, you say, Rabbit, what do you think of this? I'm gonna be like, you know what? Let me sit on it. Let me think about it. And then I'll examine it and then come back and give you some commentary. It doesn't mean that it's 100%, this is the way to go. But I think one thing that I can appreciate about the Glare, and I'm just going to say it, is that he's a pretty straight shooter, right? Like, no nonsense type of dude. I tend to like those no nonsense type of guys, that are straight in their commentary. And he doesn't care that Ryan Upchurch has 3 million people following him and that he's a musician. He's really calling out the bullying that he's done with Xaname, who has done military time, not military time, service in the military. And it's in the interview, it's from what I've assessed, it looks like it's been about 18, 19 years of service in the military. And the way in which Ryan Upchurch, this man, has bullied this woman, because he really has bullied this woman. The clickbaitish titles. I mean, he's been calling this ish out. And to me, that's something to really applaud personally, because I think that not a lot of people can stand up to Ryan Upchurch, and a lot of people are scared for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I wanted to play this little thing and give you guys some commentary to this situation. So the Glare and Ryan Upchurch were on a panel, and I believe the channel name is Queen Bee, and I might have to link them in there, but I'm going to play straight from the Glare report. I did contact the Glare and I said, hey, can I use your stuff for commentary? He's like, hey, dude, go for it. Under fair use, da-da-da-da. He's not going to strike us down. Thank you, thank you. So let's move on to that. I appreciate the way in which he challenged Ryan Upchurch in pertaining to the Kiely Rodni case. Kiely Rodni case, if you guys don't know, is the 16-year-old girl that went missing off of Truckee, and later was found in her car, in her Honda CRB, under 15 feet of water. During the time that they were doing the searches, Ryan Upchurch, who is a country star musician, decided to become, or has become, a YouTube crime, I don't know, investigator, if you would say that. And what he did is that he accused at least 3 YouTubers that I know of to have conspired to doing something to this girl. Okay, like, can you imagine? You have somebody with 3 million followers accusing you of something over that, and somehow the people are believing it. The people are believing it. And some of these people, like IckedMel, for example, who has his focus in his business is true crime, doesn't really get into the YouTube drama like a lot of people do. He was accused of doing something, right? He did a little word scrambling of his name, sell me a kid. That's what his name supposedly stood for, according to Ryan. So the Glare, I think, has really called out a lot of this shit, and I appreciate him for that. Whether you like him or not, that's, your opinion. I might not agree with everything that he says or does, but I think it deserves a fair assessment, right? I would hope that people would give me a fair assessment at the very least. Just saying. Okay, let's play this video and get it going.
Church. But I'm also like, I don't have anything directly against him personally or anything like that. But the issue is that what he's doing is very, very bad. And I don't mind calling him out. And I don't even mind insulting him in the process. Those of you who know me know that I don't mind doing that, and I will continue to do it. But it's the reason why I call him out on what he does is because he's victimizing people and lies are being spread. And one thing that I won't stand for are veterans being dragged and being lied about. I may or may not. You put it in the private. Okay, there we go. No, I may or may not agree with everything, but one thing I'm not going to do is allow anybody who has served our country, especially if they're immigrants and they came here. And my impression of Xaname is that she came to this country because she wanted to be here, and the way that she chose to show gratitude for that was to serve it in a way that most of us in this chat have not. I wish I had when I was younger. I wish I was a more responsible person. I wish I had taken that route when I was younger. If I could join the military now, I would. That's the truth.
I love it. I love how he starts right then and there. And shout out to everyone I'm gonna read my members real quick. Babs Bunny, read this. Who else? I'm like missing a lot of people. Caroline, read this. Yaya Cat is here. Who else is here? To Babs Bunny, the Panther Queen. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody coming in. Shy Baby, Regina, Valerie, all my people. Gemini Gems is here. Louisiana Lady, Angie's here as well. It's still me. Shout out to you as well. Oh my God, bring the mess TV. Shout out to you. Okay, yeah. Thank you for that comment. I think it's been on my mind too, and I know that there's just been so much going on YouTube, but this is something that needs to be called out. I think that it's like this. For me, I don't, whether it's Ryan Upchurch or whoever your favorite celebrity might be, just think of it that way. Are they above like any type of record? Like, are they above being called out on some ish? And I think that we're in this time frame where people are getting called out for different things, right? To me, he's no different. And what in this interview, what he did, he really showed himself. Number one, I think it's important to really say what it is. Shout out to Xaname. She's in the chat as well. This is what I'm talking about. It's like immigrants and the people that do time and as far as in the service and the military deserve recognition for that, number one. So thank you, Xaname, for your 18, 19 years of service, and keep it pushing, girl, and note that we got your back over here, and we appreciate you. So let's keep playing this right now.
Truth. But I won't have veterans disrespected. And I don't think that this person was actually at least intentionally disrespecting a veteran. But he had a question and he asked me, and I wasn't qualified to answer that question. And he asked me that about Xaname, and even less was I qualified to answer that question. So I wanted to give him the opportunity to ask her directly. So but I'm not seeing him. You know what I'll do? And I'm only going to let this one person on, but I'm going to share the link in the chat just to make it easy. And now I can hear you. Okay.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
You're welcome.
Skipping it right
it's
through.
Been quite a journey, but you're wearing a gray shirt. I'm wearing a gray shirt. It might be a conspiracy.
Guys, this is Xaname with the glare.
Clearly. Yeah, we're totally in on it together.
Oh no.
Insane. And it's so late, so like I'm very not in the mood for bullshit. So
yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I never go live this late, and we were just in and I really like his channel. I was just on the panel with Psychobabble. Psychobabble is the person who initially debunked the whole car having to be in gear or in neutral to have gone in the water or whatever in the whole thing. And he's a Ryan Upchurch fan, admittedly, but he suffered some loss and somebody took a jab at him and he ended his live, and I don't blame him because he got very emotional. I don't blame him for doing that. So I decided, because we had an unfinished issue to go over, I decided to go ahead and go live just to get this out of the way. And here is Hillbilly Lives Matter, and he has a question for you, Xaname.
So I just want to say before I ask my questions here.
So if you guys know what's been happening in the bullying of Xaname, okay, Xaname has been accused of stolen valor, okay, which those of you guys that are in the military, I believe is the most offensive thing you can accuse everyone in the military, at least having service time, to have done, right? To have lied about your service or lied about anything in the military. She was accused of that unfairly and made fun of about it. And I'm going to tell you this. I did 2 videos on Xaname, right? And I had people in my comments accusing her of lying about service. So nobody can tell me that did not happen. It did happen. They lied, they like accused her of being some kind of like infiltrator of something. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you so much. And everything. So I found this to be so interesting that people really doubled down into what Ryan Upchurch was saying, because he's Ryan Upchurch, because they're fans of him, and not even really thinking about, well, like how much validity to what he's saying is actually truth, right? And the fact that this man carries such a huge celebrity to him that even the fans are willing to attack Xaname. So she tells us a little bit about her, military time and everything in here. We're going to continue to watch this. Let's go.
I do admire the courage it took to go take her family and go through the bureaucracy of the U.S. government, because the U.S. government is a pain in the ass. That being out of the way, there were some questions I had on your military photos that were posted on the ABC documentary, and then some that have popped up around you. I'm sure you people can repost it. So you are in the National Guard.
You're breaking up a lot. Is there a way that you can get a better? Yeah, could you get better reception somewhere where you're at? Maybe.
Is that better?
It is so far. Yeah.
Okay. So, just in case you didn't hear my first part, I want to say I really do admire the courage it takes to go get your family from Romania and then to deal with the bureaucracy of the U.S. government, because I know quite a few people in the military that had a hard time even getting their citizenship approved while they were in basic training. So, kudos to you, and I hope all that is working out in your favor. But I do want to ask some questions, because there was some stuff on the uniform that was posted that was interesting to me. But I just want to verify you were in the you are or were in the National Guard, correct?
I am still currently in National Guard, and I have 1 year left until I retire.
Okay. How long were you in, if you don't mind me asking?
I've been in National Guard since 2014, and I was on active duty since 2002. My apologies, since 2003 and until 2014. So the deployment patch that you were talking about earlier on the other panel, I was watching it. The deployment patch is from JBLM, which is previous Fort Lewis in Washington State. And this is my first deployment patch to Iraq. And then after that, I went to Afghanistan in 2000. Oh my goodness, it's been so long.
So you've actually seen combat. Xana.
Yes.
Wow.
Twice.
So 2 tours.
2 tours, Iraq and Afghanistan.
Wow.
Okay.
So the patch that you're talking about, the Indian head, it is from 4-2 Infantry Brigade, Striker Brigade, and we were the last Striker Brigade to leave Iraq in 2010.
Oh wow, that's amazing. This is sort of my last question, because you pretty much answered my main question. But so you saw combat. Is there a reason why they didn't give you a CAB, or I'm guessing you were in infantry, so a CAB, combat action badge?
I'm not commenting on that because it's very personal.
Okay, that's fine. That pretty much answered my question. I do want to say, hope everything goes.
So Hillbilly Lives Matter, I believe, is a supporter of Ryan Upchurch. I mean, he likes his music, but I appreciated that him as a supporter of Ryan Upchurch, he also here acknowledges Xaname's service, right? And is able to say, like, hey, I'm sorry that you're going through with what you're going through. Thank you for what you're doing. And just overall, I just shout out to him. I don't even know him. Xaname, if you're in the chat, please drop your channel link. I would really appreciate it, so people can follow your story as you are telling it as well. Okay, let's keep going.
Rough. And I wish you the best in health and all that. So peace out.
I want to go ahead and say, and give you a lot of respect, Hillbilly Lives Matter, because this is obviously something that was on your mind, and then you asked on that panel, but you did it very respectfully, and you took a lot of criticism very respectfully for asking the question when you did. I don't want that to go unacknowledged. So thank you for that.
Too. I think a lot of people need to start being a little more respectful with the conversations. You don't obviously have thick skin on some things. Like, if a fact is a fact, it's a fact. But there's no reason to pull people's families into things, and there's no reason to like, if someone verifies and proves that they are what they say they are, there's no reason to go at that person in that way. Like the shit that happened while I was on live with the Babel, that shit there's really no need for that. There's better ways to have these conversations. It is kind of disgusting. It's a huge problem that the United States as a whole is facing. And I think a lot of people need to get out of their emotions and realize the business side of things and the life side of things. And I think a lot of people are having a problem separating their heart from their sleeve, as they say. But
well, I think I agree with what you're saying, but I think a lot of the big issue right now is that, which has been my gripe from the start, is this is an emotional issue no matter how you cut it. When you talk about true crime cases, there's always a victim. There's always a victim, there's always a perpetrator. Sometimes the focus is always on the perpetrator. Sometimes there is no perpetrator to name, but there's always a victim. Always, 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 no matter what, there's always a victim in these crime cases. We may not know who the perpetrator is, but we have to keep in mind who the victims are and try to be empathetic as far as what they may or may not be going through. And if we're looking at these crime cases and we're not thinking of them first, then we have a serious problem.
Yeah.
This has become a genre, and it's not a genre. It's an issue. It's an issue in this country. It's an issue in this world.
I think a lot of people just do not know how to be tactful with things anymore. And
such a valid point. Okay. Thank you so much. Such a valid point. How do I say this? Okay. My undergraduate is in criminology. Okay. And so that is kind of like the science of crime, forensics, when you get into the science of that. And it's very interesting to look into the crime community, right? And assess it a little bit. And that's why when I've talked about whether it's Marvon McRae or this case or whatever other situation that's going on, I kind of look back and I'm like, what is the end goal, right? When you think of an assessment, you want to think about like all the moving parts to a situation. And that's how I would agree with the glare in that there's a victim in a crime story or a family, and it's not even a story, it's an actual situation that's happening in real life. If you've ever been a victim of crime, you know that this is real, this is happening to you. And so then how then people insert themselves into situations like this is a valid point to even examine and talk about, right? So if you are a victim of crime and say somebody does a YouTube commentary or something about it, you essentially have opened up, and whether it's on YouTube or on a national media headline or whatever, you basically opened up yourself to a lot of criticism on what you could have done, what you shouldn't have done, what you could have did, what you could have done, like things like that. Even in this case, right? So when I was watching this interview, the glare, shout out to him, who played the devil's advocate in here by asking Xaname, like, you were at the site where the girl disappeared, right? And I would have asked the same questions, Xaname. I would have asked you the same question, period. You kind of, you might have put yourself in here, like, did you know that this was going on? And then Xaname said, well, there was other people that were YouTubers that were also there. So we attract ourselves to things like this, to tragedy, to crime, to drama, and we don't even really think about the imprint that we might have done there. A picture, canoeing, talking to people. And we want to do, like, and not to discourage people from not doing that, but you kind of have to understand, how does that then open the door for you, right? Whether it's true crime or a beauty channel or some ish that you're doing on YouTube, note that you've opened the door for different things to happen. How you then come about that is going to be very valid. Xaname's reaction, I think, was very valid, was like, you know what? I got this man who's a country star singer who's accusing me of having something to do with the missing and disappearance of this young girl. I was giving commentary to this situation, and now I'm being accused of this. Everything was going fine. Like, why is this happening? And not only to her, but to IckedMel and to the other person as well. It brings a really good point to say, like, how did we find ourselves in here? And yet we still have a crime that has happened. No answers. We're all kind of wondering. I think it was the glare who said that the true crime community, the commentating of it, or it depends, right? There's some channels that'll do like investigative stories and stuff like that, which I like. I like looking into stuff like that. Then you have the people that will actually insert themselves in there, right? By contacting families, bringing families on, doing different things, right? You really have to kind of weigh that a little bit. Like, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing that you're doing? What is the impact that that'll have on the family? Something to think about, right? Let's continue to watch. And then we're going to switch over to the panel that the glare went on. Is that the glare? He's smoking a cigarette. God bless him.
Again, this sounds like a broken record saying this, because everyone's going to always go, oh, it's education. Oh, it's this. I really do think it just comes down to people not really being taught manners anymore, and where the line is of, okay, here's where I drop the tactful attitude and bulldog it. And I think that's something that people need to start considering, is where's the line where I drop the tactfulness, and where and why am I not starting out in a tactful way? So with Ryan, he like look, I'm still a fan of Ryan. I think a lot of his music is good. His skits are funny, but I think when it comes to a lot of these cases and other incidents, he'll do this thing where he'll go straight to the bulldogging before trying to approach it tactfully, and that in and of itself causes a lot more problems than solving them. Which again, it also take into consideration it is YouTube, so drama gets views.
But it doesn't. You know what I mean? That's the problem. Is I live in a place in my head where I'm naive, and I have been for 4 years, where I'm just hoping to see YouTube gain some, you know, because there are YouTubers out there that cover true crime cases, and they do it for the right reasons, and they're respectful, and it's not fair to them that they don't get, because a lot of them make really good points, and a lot of them actually uncover a lot of good things and make really responsible speculations, and they're not taken seriously just because they're not, you know, mainstream media. You know, I'm not one of those people. I'm not trying to put myself with those. There are true crime creators that I respect that are doing this. And yes, Gray Hughes is one of those 3 boys' mom. And I'd like to see them be taken seriously by the public and not looked at as clowns and just idiots with a YouTube channel, you know. And the reason why that's happening is because there are other YouTubers who make something this serious become some sort of mockery and a joke. And then, you know, you got this Ryan Upchurch character who comes along, and he's, you know, although he's talented and he's a musician, whatever, he just saw some way to be able to, I don't know what his motives were. I honestly don't.
I think what's going to happen,
but he's giving all YouTubers who are trying to do something good a bad name, and actually trying to get justice and trying to get closure for these families.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I'm, you know, saying, right? So I think in playing the devil's advocate, the glare about, well, you kind of walk in, and like I said, I love people that play the devil's advocate because you get to see both sides of the argument. Bree McG says, I don't understand why people are drawn out of the bunch when, why she's drawn out of the bunch when there were other people out there looking for KR, just as she was. True. Whether she inserted herself or not, she didn't. She absolutely not. She doesn't. She does not deserve any of the attacks. People are drawn to these sites, right? And then at the same time, if you can help one way or another, whether somebody's missing or something's happening, go for it. Do it. You have a YouTube channel where you're promoting, looking for these missing people or reporting crime and everything. Absolutely, do it. Like, we're given these platforms for a reason. Absolutely. And shout out to, let's see, somebody made a really great comment here. God Soldier, Xaname, it was not just Iraq, it was also Afghanistan, if I remember correctly from the interview. Xaname, I don't know, you're a badass. I'm telling you. Like, shout out to you, kudos to you, period, for the service that you have done. We owe you. And the fact that you, like, as an immigrant, right, that you came here and that's what you dedicated yourself to do for 18, 19 plus years. Like, come on. Awesome. But we don't see people, and I'm saying this because I read the comments from the videos that I did on her. People don't see her as having done service. People are in this attack mode, and it's so unfair for her. Like, it's not okay. So for me, for somebody like the Glarer or anybody else that stands up and calls this shit out, kudos to you. I'm glad you did. Thank you for doing that.
He's giving them all a bad name, and
I really do think what's going to end up happening here, this is from what I'm seeing with Ryan before. So, for example, the Johnny Gobble situation, it was a nonstop attack on that guy. Now, after, I want to say 4 or 5 months after the attacks have been done on him, and they got over whatever they got over, I think Ryan just gets too passionate about some things, and he'll get this like, I want to call it like a tunnel vision kind of, which again,
and that's what's really ironic. I don't mean to interrupt you, but like,
yeah.
I like that he's passionate. You know, I'm hoping that this little part of me, that's what's really weird, is like I make all these videos about him and I point out all this shit about him, but I'm hoping that he's actually passionate. It's just that he's directing his passion in this really fucked up way, you know, and it's victimizing people, and it's not okay, you know. But if he directed that passion and used his influence in such a in a responsible manner, he could do a lot of good. But I'm
see, and this is where I disagree with the Glare. Okay, when I read that article, which was a little quick upload that we did on this channel, and the Glare actually read it on his channel as well, where he talked about the clickbait titles that the clickbaiting and the beefing that Ryan Upchurch does. I don't feel like, I don't think that the passion that people are saying that he has is in the right direction, so to speak. I could be wrong. Let me know what you guys think about this in the chat, and maybe I'll even do a little poll right now as I'm just thinking about this. Is this, I mean, are we seeing a really passionate celebrity that really wants to, you know, bring awareness to the crime community about what happened to this situation, what happened to this girl? I don't agree with that. I think personally, I think it's somebody taking advantage of the situation. I think there's a lot of maliciousness behind that. I don't think it's passion. And I don't want that to be the message. I would disagree with the Glare on that one. Yeah, thank you. I think it's extremely abusive. I think that using somebody's name like IckedMel and taking it and saying, well, if you spell it this way, it means sell me a kid. That's not passion. That he's abusive. And it's an abusive form of power, period, because he's got more followers than others. He's got people that will say and do anything for him. Personally, I think it's an abusive form of power, okay, by numbers, by people that he has done. And based on that article, and if we were to pull up that lawsuit that happened, towards Ryan Upchurch, I would even say that there's something to be said about that abusive way of power. So like power in numbers, power in people. The more you can direct people on YouTube to say that this is a conspiracy, that these people conspired, that this woman never did any level of service in the military, that's abuse. That's abuse. That's abusive way of power, manipulation at its best, all of it. So I don't agree with that statement. It's probably the one statement that I'd be like, no, X that, period. Now, prior to this interview, okay, and I'm going to show you where the Glare went up there with Upchurch, okay, and it was in the Queen Bee channel as well, and you could definitely see the dynamics. What I learned from that is that Ryan Upchurch cannot be redirected whatsoever. There's no willingness for him to kind of really hear where he is off by this, where he is bullying this woman, where he's attacking these people. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. So for me, it's like, to call it passion, it's the wrong word to use. That's just my opinion. But let me put up that video right now so we can watch it together. And so then that interview, I'm going to put it in the description box so you guys can watch it. This video, to me, is very interesting because it really shows the power dynamics of this group. So you have the Glare that did a panel, right? And in this panel, I'm just like, whoa, it was like 2 against 3 of them or 5. Like, it was just a funny, not a funny, but just a really interesting power dynamics. If you're ever in a group of people and you're arguing, right, and you guys are whatever the hell you're arguing about, right, but the argument is so passionate and you're like, that's where I use passion. The heat of the argument can be passionate. Someone's motive is a little bit different, right? And that's just my opinion. But let's play this right now. Let me know what your guys' thoughts on
if it happens. I apologize in advance. But something really interesting happened because the title is not clickbait, folks. The title is not clickbait. Oh, PP-gate, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stream this. And Cherry, do me a favor and throw up that disclaimer for me. I see you in here. I appreciate you. Because I like to be clear about things. And I like to be thorough if I can be. Oh, she's a totally irrelevant channel. Absolutely.
It comes.
Will Ryan accept
We don't
that
have it
that's
on
her body?
paper because we don't have
Well,
it.
let's say it does. Will Ryan accept that that's Kiely Rodni?
Do you realize you're talking like a criminal,
We
bro?
let Will come up. Let Will come up. Can you let Will come up, please? He's not. He just wants to talk about the case. I promise he's not going to start anything.
Okay, why
No, I don't know who that was speaking up for me, but it was nice of them to do that.
is he talking like a criminal when he's asking you like if that would be proof enough for you?
Yeah,
Well,
I just don't
I'm
want
at a
to be
crime
pregnant.
scene. If I'm at a crime scene,
He'll. He won't.
I was reluctant.
He just wants to ask questions. Like
I was reluctant of jumping on this panel because I can't stand this channel. Like, I can't stand it. Oh, thank you, Marb.
Now that is that's the Glare's opinion. The channel name is Queen Bee. If you search Queen Bee with Ryan Upchurch and the Glare, I mean, you'll find this panel. I think this was her last upload. That's completely his opinion, not mine. I've never really looked into that channel. I just saw this panel and I said, let me get into this and let me find out about this a little bit more. It's important. The biggest turnoff that I have is so I guess this is the hub of the crime community. Sorry guys, I got a little cough drop. This is the hub of the crime community, right? On YouTube. And so what I really haven't gone to school, right, to study a little bit about this, and not to say that we don't make mistakes or that we, that I'm not biased or anything like that. There's obviously some things that I could be biased about. There's some things that I could do a little bit better on. Like, don't get me wrong, right? But to say, well, you sound like a criminal, you X, Y, like some of the deductive reasoning behind some of these arguments that people have made, it's kind of really scary. Because if you think about it, if you sound like a criminal, if half of you guys are in here, I got 122 people, and I said, well, this subscriber looks like a criminal. What? Like, that's how we're crucifying people now, based on what they sound, what they look like. I mean, there's something to be said about racial profiling, right? Or just something to keep in mind.
BMW. I can't stand this channel, and I was reluctant about going on there but the problem is I just saw a great opportunity to confront Ryan directly, because that he will never actually confront me here or on a scheduled thing. So I just wanted to be able to catch him on a drama channel that is going to open up their panel where he would be forced to hear my questions.
like everybody else.
He just wants hard factual proof.
Right. Yeah.
Thank
He just
you.
wants questions. Just bring Will
Okay.
up, please.
See, now you see what
So
Laura did right there. Laura speaks up in my defense, because she's like, ooh, I know that the Glare has been confronting Ryan. I know that he's been addressing him. So I want to hear some drama, because Laura is all about the drama. But watch.
if it comes through and it's confirmed to be Kiely Rodni, then what? Is it still like a GoFundMe scam?
Well, what do you think?
Thank you.
Look at the steps.
I'm
that have
asking what
happened
you
so
think.
far.
No, Ryan, I'm asking what you think.
I've already made
It
50
has
million
been
videos
confirmed
on
that
what
it's
I
Kiely.
think.
It has
That's why
been
we're
confirmed that
here.
it's
That's
Kiely.
why we're
It has been,
speculating my
Will?
name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it has been confirmed.
It's
She's been identified.
Hold on.
Show it.
Yeah, it's no secret. It's no secret. Like, Placer County posted on Twitter that the body was confirmed to be Kiely Rodni. Remember when I went over that and it was
And mind you, Ryan Upchurch has been saying for the last week that Kiely Rodni is not real. Okay? So how, unless Ryan Upchurch was at the crime scene, right? I'm just thinking, right? You know the child that went missing, you know the girl that went missing, you know what's going on, you know that she, like, how do you come up with this theory that the girl's not real? Like, how? Yes, to me, I just, when I heard that, and he'd been spewing this for about a week and a half, and then I heard some other stuff about him not wanting to give up his Hellcat or whatever. Like, it was just a little too much. So then how do you then say someone's child is not real? The death that happened, the fact that you had so many people out there, like, how do you get there? And so that's where I was like, well, is this kind of like the community that goes between theory, crama, I think that's what they call it, right? Drama and crama, drama and crime meshed together, where they're inviting of theories that you're able to make up of about people that go missing or they die or under unfortunate circumstances, and then you're able to kind of say they're not real. Let me know what you guys think. I could not imagine being a parent and then having somebody with 3 million subs who's a celebrity run a narrative. And then not only that, was it 2016? He had that lawsuit where he like clickbaited for beef, and that sold his music. And I almost feel like that's what he's trying to do right here, the clickbait for beef. And the more people give him attention, the more following he gets. Totally not fair. Thank you, Bring Them STV. And that's the other thing. These are things that I would think that as a crime community, you would have to challenge. How do you sound like a criminal? How do you look like a criminal? These are biases that are very dangerous to have, that we need to call out. Because if we don't call out, anybody can be incarcerated for some BS because of that. Thank you for saying that.
Already out, and I said it like it was new. I screwed up, but it was already out for a few days. Yeah, I read that on here.
Show it. Where's it at?
Confirmed verbally. It has not been confirmed on
And see, that bothers me because look, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clowns on here that I gotta like try to get my point through.
Thank you.
Doesn't. Okay, let me answer that real quick. You're never like you're not gonna get a quality discussion on a crime case when you open a panel like this. Right here is a sign of having this many people on your panel, unless it's just a fun stream. But on a crime case, you're going to get a bunch of drama. This is how drama becomes crama, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Never going to get any official autopsy results unless her mother or immediate parent releases them because she is a minor.
False.
Okay, so you'll never get that. False. I'd like to know. I'd like to ask Ryan though, since the Hellcat's still sitting in your driveway, why not just take the money that it's worth and donate it to AWP? Because they do take donations, and then just show a receipt.
Do you really
for it.
think you can just cash up $100,000, dude?
No,
well, whatever you have to do.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
if I'm trying to give them the money and they're saying, hold on, don't, just not right now. Why do you think
just donate it? Just donate it to their cause. Why not? Why not $100,000 donation to AWP's cause?
How much did you donate, Clara?
It has nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
Zero.
Why you
Laura.
You see, dude, Laura fucking sucks. She is just an awful, disgusting human being, bro. Like, her existence literally makes me sick.
Laura, no,
it
pains me to defend Will, but Will never said he was going to donate.
I'm up here trying to ask this dude questions, and then she has to fucking chime in his defense. Why? Because all she's doing here is trying to kiss his ass and get on his good side. The same behavior we keep seeing from all these other trash channels, trying to get on his good side, hoping to make buddy-buddy with him so he could show up on her panel, and then it's going to increase her views. It's the only thing that she's interested in.
Donate. Ryan did.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. I did say I was going to donate to AWP. What is the deal?
Well, then
you tell us.
I can't. They haven't given me the
information. Well, then why don't you
to
cash app it in
to
increments
them.
then?
Yeah, sure.
Lady,
yeah.
do you know how long it would take to cash app $100,000?
I'm
Are you
sure
living in
could do it.
reality?
You look like a healthy young man.
So you're telling me the only way that you can make $100,000 payment or any payment to anybody is through Cash App? Really?
Can we move past
No, there's plenty of ways. You could do a
No,
wire
we don't-
transfer.
no, I don't
you
wanna
could
move
do a
past it.
free
As you can
cashier
see,
check. You could do a check.
Upchurch, since he's finally cornered with this question, since he finally has someone who's not buried in his asshole because he's a fucking country star, finally asking a direct question, right? What does he do? He dodges it as much as possible, makes unbelievable, ridiculous excuses and dances around it.
And that is what people need to be concerned about. The fact that he cannot answer a question and he dodges it and he dances and then he gets like other people to chime in. Answer the question. Answer the question so we can have a good understanding of the situation. Why not? Whether it was the Hellcat or a financial donation that he could have made, do it, right? Like he said he would do it, right? Hold him accountable. Hold him accountable to that. That I would have to agree with that.
Check and send it to an address. There's multiple ways you could send
Sure,
money,
so
dude.
why not just do it then? Right.
Because they're saying they can't take it right now because they won't give me the address. What do you not understand about that?
You don't need an address though. There's a website that you can donate to.
You
Right.
can't donate $100,000 over the fucking internet. Are
Yeah,
you
you have to do a
mad?
transfer. You have to pay for a transfer. You have to do a wire transfer. You
Good
can't-
God.
yeah, it's not
Do you
that.
think they're gonna turn down $100,000 donation to their cause? Right.
Well, no,
I really doubt
not
it.
if they found her. Not if they found the actual Kiely Rodni.
So
what
you-
the name is.
So are you
I
claiming
mean,
that they
what-
didn't find her? That's what you're claiming. AWP didn't find
No,
her.
dude. Will you open your ears? I'm only saying this one more time. Listen,
He did claim that,
Please.
by the
they
way.
found a
He did claim that, by the way. He said that what they found a body, but it wasn't Kiely. That the whole thing is messed up. That the whole thing is a ruse, right? Now, excuse me. the whole thing is a ruse, and that I think it was somebody was up there trying to, I think it was Laura actually going, oh, I think I understand what you were saying. It was the way that you worded it, which was actually a legit question. She was saying, well, you worded it saying that she wasn't real, but did you mean that she wasn't a real person who ever existed, or it wasn't her in the car, that she didn't exist in the car, which is bullshit. What she was doing really is, even though it sounds like a legit question, I take it back. What it was her very manipulative way of kissing his ass and giving him a way to bail out of his bullshit. That's all that was, because we heard him 100 times saying she never existed. Her name is really Callie something. That's not Kylie. Kylie never existed. Callie exists, but not Kylie. We've heard him say it half a dozen times. So this was her just trying to get up his ass.
A body in the car.
Yes, we've gone through that.
The body.
Sure was. I saw that. He said that it was not Kylie, it was Callie, and there was a grandfather that's not part of the grandfather, that's a real dad, that's like, and then they were mixing up another YouTuber that had nothing. Like, this is the insanity of how this man twisted the story, and then you have his followers that are okay with it. It's very cult-like, if I mean, if you ask me, very cult-like.
He was supposedly this Kiely Rodni person. Where is the videos of the supposed Kiely Rodni person? Nobody has them. The only thing people have is old ass videos from back in the day and really shitty flip phone pictures.
See, this is what he doesn't understand, is all of that stuff right now, any video right now of Kylie has probably been turned into law enforcement. Of Kylie at this party has probably been turned into law enforcement. And law enforcement can't release these things because there are God knows how many minors in these pictures and in these videos. This was a party full of minors. I mean, there were people of age there, but there were minors there. You can't just release that stuff publicly and put minors' faces out there. You can't do that. So that's why that's not made available to you. A. B, it's an open investigation, so that stuff is evidence.
Open your fucking eyes. What?
Very, very true. You cannot, like, I know that was part of the case. Like, everybody has a phone. Why didn't they just release some pictures? And why didn't they do this? It's because there are minors involved. They're not going to do that. They're not whatsoever. And they shouldn't if there's an open investigation, because that could, really hinder it, period. Like, they shouldn't.
What are you saying?
But don't you think that that's incredibly disrespectful to her family and loved ones that are missing her? And that,
don't you think it's disrespectful that her family isn't putting anything out that's worth a fuck to where people can know that she's real?
Because you're not entitled to that.
What's up, Gray?
Exactly. You're not entitled.
No one's entitled to it. But
Gray.
if someone's telling me that somebody in my family is fake and bullshit and all this stuff and it's causing me trouble, I'm going to post the proof that they're real and it's going to be over with. Hello.
Maybe you would. I don't know why StreamYard is doing this, but I see it in my chat, like through YouTube. So Tennessee Moonshine, member for 2 months. Thank you. Love you too. I appreciate that. But it didn't show up, so I can't highlight it. But maybe they would just try to deal with the trauma of losing their child and try to move on. They haven't been able to deal with this peacefully because of people like you.
Glairer.
Exactly.
Glairer.
Exactly.
I want to ask Glairer something.
Sure.
Okay. Listen to this scenario. AWP comes to find the car. They point AWP in not the right direction. It's the last place they check. They find the car. Why is no one mad?
What's up, Frankie?
When she's not
Hold on,
found?
let me read your comment. Frankie's always going to get my respect in here. Being someone who lived through something similar, they cannot show anyone's dead body to the public, especially a minor. 16. She was 16. It's left for evidence of the case. 2, it's extremely morbid. That's why most of it's sealed. Thank you, Frankie. I appreciate that.
Who was the other YouTuber? We've talked about him before, that got a lot of ish over the week for trying to photo edit one of AWP's photos of Kiely Rodni, like in the body. Like, he was trying to show her body. I don't know if he did, quite honestly. And I think somebody sent me the screen recording. I found it to be really, like, disgusting to do that. Was it Justice for All? I mean, the guy does already raunchy shit. And it's not the excuses of, well, this is true crime. No, if that was your child, you would not want a true crime community looking at at your child's body this way, or trying to edit it, or zoom in or anything like that. Like if AWP released what they released and they purposely blur it, it was for a reason. You don't do that. You don't say this is a true crime community. We bring these photos over here. It would be different if the family had released the photo for people to evaluate it and examine it and try to figure out like the justice piece, right? What somebody, I think it was Molly Golightly said something to the effect of, well, did you see how they released the pictures of was it Travis, the Jodi Arias case where she murdered her boyfriend, right? Those pictures this was years ago that they were released. They weren't leaked, right? And I believe that the coroner's office had released them during the trial so people can like look into the injuries that Travis had sustained. Nothing to do with a 16-year-old child that we don't really know whether she was killed. It's being investigated, right? Right, Mama. Sorry, I got my little baby bunny over here. It's being investigated and looked at, and we need to be careful. I think it's horrible that they would do that. Don't release pictures and don't edit out pictures to serve a true crime community for your clicks and views. Disgusting.
Element difference. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. This is Ronnie Jones. One of the dudes he's harassed. Agreed with your points. He can't have a civil conversation. He's only causing damage, and other channels are letting him run wild as well. Totally agree, man. And welcome. I appreciate you being here, buddy. And I'm sorry that you're going through what you've been going through. I'm sorry that this dipshit is putting you through everything he's putting you and IckedMel and Xaname through, and especially Kiely's family and loved ones. So thank you. Let me see what Frankie said here. I don't know much about the case of this poor woman. Very sad situation all around. Yes, it is. But what you are going through is not much different at all of what her family's going through, thanks to people like him.
When she's found, everyone gets mad to the point where the mom talks shit to AWP, and Jagger, the supposed boyfriend, called them clout chasers. Why is the boyfriend and the mother shit talking to people that just gave them closure?
I can answer that to a certain degree. I can't speak for them, but I can speculate on that. As far as Jagger goes, when AWP did their video and I spoke up about this, AWP created a narrative that Jagger had met with her. They never outright said it because they know that it would. But they did imply it. Prone to litigation. If you got eyes, they did create a narrative that Jagger. If you got eyes, they absolutely did that. Frankie says, seeing how sick people are on the internet that would share that horrible photo far and wide. The last thing the family needs is to see their daughter's dead body. Exactly. But this doesn't mean anything to him. Like he's saying that she's fake and she didn't even exist. Had shown up and called a tow truck with Kiely the next day after she had gone missing.
They didn't create that. The tow truck driver did.
No, well, but they put it in their video though, didn't they? They sure did.
Is it coming out of their mouth?
It's a little irresponsible, right?
Is it coming out of their mouth?
So now everybody.
That's a piece of evidence, dude. What are you talking about? It's a piece of evidence.
It's not. It's not a piece of evidence. It's not. It's just some guy who decided to be interviewed by these guys about something completely irrelevant, which I went over. And I'm glad Gray is here because
I have a question. I have a question for the whole chat. My chat, 150 people. Answer me this question. Who decides what's evidence and who doesn't? Like, who decides that something is suspect or who decides that something is evidence? Who decides that something needs to be looked at? I know that we're all giving commentary, right? But some of this, to me, in my opinion, can be a little bit dangerous because we don't know what kind of theory can come out of a commentary or a situation, right? If you get accused of, say, working as a Russian spy, right? And you're just giving YouTube commentary to a situation and somehow they've inserted you into something that you're like, I had nothing to do with this. And I got 3 million people doxing me and harassing me and my kids' pictures are up and people are going after me and displaying my information. Who decides what's evidence? And that's the piece that we have to be very careful in this situation. That I would agree with as far as the glare, that it seems like it's a cesspool when it comes to the true crime community. I mean, even the interaction here is so scary to me.
I wonder if he'll agree with me because what I went over is, I mean, this guy in the video, the tow truck driver, says that he saw Kiely and some dude matching well, he didn't say that, but he described somebody that the public is going to go, oh, that sounds like Jagger. He described somebody that she was with, and he said he saw them the next day after she went missing at 11 a.m. And he saw them in a body of water, near a body of water that was like 3 miles away. And then, but her body was recovered in the body of water that was closest to the party. So make that make sense to me. Why would somebody go completely out of their way the next day, call a tow truck driver because the battery wasn't working or whatever, right? And then go, you know what? Let's go closest to the place where they're going to ask questions. Let's go put her in the body of water that's closest to the place where they're going to ask all the questions if we're trying to get away with getting rid of a body. It doesn't make sense. It just simply doesn't make sense. What's Gray saying? Let me see. I think the girl, if he did see them, was the other blonde. Right. You know, he saw somebody else. And I don't think he's lying. I think the guy is just simply mistaken. You know, so when I say he's full of shit, I'm just like, well, you know, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. I'm not saying that he's a liar.
How is it not a piece of fucking evidence?
Why would she be at 11 a.m. the next day after she's been gone, seen by a tow truck driver in near a body of water that's 30 minutes away, and then she's actually found at the body of water right near the party?
That's the point. That is the point of them interviewing the guy. They knew he was full of shit. They interviewed him.
The guy. No, because they spun the narrative that there was foul play through the whole video.
Hang on. I got a question.
The whole video.
I want to say something here, Clara.
The whole video, they were spinning the narrative that it was foul play. They did it really subtly at first, and then they just outright did it. Deborah Ann, welcome. Thank you.
Second. I don't know if the wording is wrong. I don't know if things are coming across, but anyone that's in here that's true crime, let me just tell you what I think Ryan is trying to say. Since when do we automatically...
Same here, Gray. I totally agree with you. But, man, I don't know what it is. I just can't shut the fuck up about it. I just can't. Like, it drives me insane, and nobody seems to want to address it, and it bothers me.
Automatically just trust the police's word. Since when do we automatically trust...
And just to be clear, I'm not calling anybody out for not calling them out. I mean, your content is your content. Do your content. Whatever your content is, great. You know what I mean? But nobody seems to be calling them out, so I do. You know, I'm not doing it to criticize the people who aren't calling them out. I'm just saying somebody's got to fucking do it. Frankie says, I thank God my family's photos were sealed immediately and will never ever be shown. I don't ever want to see. Yeah, of course you wouldn't. Of course you wouldn't, dude.
So Oz, is Frankie somebody else that's also being slandered in this situation? I feel so bad for Kiki. I mean, is he being also slandered in this situation as well? See, I couldn't understand that piece. If you guys can let me know in the chat, that would be great. And that's the thing. It's like, you don't want to go around censoring everyone and their mother on YouTube. Like, don't get me wrong. But I think that there's a fine line between family, like real life, and then YouTube stuff, right? And then there's entertainment. I feel like we're meshing both of them. It gets really dangerous when, if you have a channel, like say I decide to look into the Kiely Rodni case, right? And I give my theories, right? But you don't see me irresponsibly trying to include other people, such as other YouTubers, into these theories, and then defame them, and then say that someone's name is spelled this way, and Xaname didn't do her service, and everybody's like crazy, and then you go on TikTok and you pull kids' pictures and then accuse them of having something to do with this. Like, it's weird.
That's fucking awful. Oh, wait, what did Chasing say here? Sorry. That isn't true crime. I'm sorry. Not meaning to insult everyone, and I'm not better. It simply is not. It's gossip and chatting about cases. Agreed. Especially when you don't have any evidence to dictate that anybody was guilty of anything. Like, since when do we just start throwing accusations out there? Look at Frankie's case. Like, you've got Nicole Kessinger, who's probably had to change her name. She's one of the most hated people in the whole true crime genre, and I hate that it's a genre. But she's one of the most hated women in the world since fucking Casey Anthony, and all she did was mess with a married guy. You know what I mean? Now, that's not okay. I'm not trying to justify that, but I'm saying, does the punishment fit the crime? Frankie says, I've been a fan of Upchurch and don't know much about what's going on. I hope everything gets cleared up. It will, because I think that the people that he's victimizing are probably going to take action the way you are, Frankie. Wolf Girl, thank you so much. I can't take anything Ryan Upchurch says seriously anymore, and I'm extremely embarrassed for his cult followers, not fans. His music is great, in my opinion, but for fuck's sake. Yeah, I'm not saying nothing bad about his music. It's not for me, but I'm not saying anything about his talent. But he should not be talking about crime cases, just like AWP should not be trying to conduct an investigation when their specialty is just to simply look.
I think the Glare said a mouthful right there. AWP should not be conducting criminal investigations when their job is just to look into, or their service was to volunteer to look into the waters and pull things. You know that video where I think it was AWP who said, it's something look weird. It's definitely like making that assessment that something is foul play, or maybe it's the fact that they've done this type of thing for so long that they're able to call it that way. I'm not really sure, period. Like, don't get me wrong. But that's just my commentary on that piece. Thank you so much, Babs Bunny, as well as Bella's World, Danny Robertson for the Cash Apps, as well as the sticker that I got earlier today. Let me do a little rabbit twerking for a little break for you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Let me find my rabbit twerking. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Oh, I think I found it. Here we go. And I think that's a great question, Yaya Cat. Like, for me as somebody that I went to undergraduate, like my undergraduate is in criminology, right? I studied this stuff, but I would never call myself a detective or a police officer or anything like that because I don't have that, experience, right? I have the textbook experience. I have the internship experience. I have, maybe the academic experience, but that's about it, right? Like we do have to be very careful. And it's one thing to say we're giving commentary to the situation, but it's another thing to invite yourself or insert yourself to it based on clicks and views.
For objects in bodies of water.
Someone says something publicly. We don't. We question everything.
Oh, shut up.
So
everything. I question the tow truck driver. I still think he's on bullshit. I
think the tow truck driver is totally full of shit.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying.
Welcome, Nikki O'Shea. Thank you.
I think Ryan is taking it too far in certain instances, but all Ryan is saying is A, show me a picture that she exists at this party, and B, I'm not taking the word of the police or ME. Show me
dude. You're not going to get it. You're not going to. And in my head, I'm thinking eventually I get to that. But in my mind, I'm already thinking like, dude, can your fucking nose go any deeper in this guy's ass? Jesus Christ. Get it? You're going to get statements from the police. You're going to get press conferences and statements from the police. Because you're going to get statements, but you're not going to get documentation because she is a minor. So you're just going to have to take longer. It does matter.
Documentation on other minors.
In the state of California, the parents have the right to steal the records.
If it's released by the
in the state of California, that's the rule. That's the law.
Exactly. These people don't want facts like me and you do. They just want to be on their show.
Oh my God.
This is where Ryan is coming from, and I think.
Oh, Laura, you sound so crazy right now.
Ass any deeper? You're not crazy, Laura. Any deeper in there, Laura?
A lot of things he says, and I know Kylie.
Fuck Laura.
Anytime he wants to prove, I will show.
Then why are you kissing his ass so much? You're not making the least sense out of it. I don't know anybody worth a shit that says anything good about Laura. Like, I don't know anybody worth a shit. This woman does nothing but trash talk victims all the time. Like, she tries so much to Zav too, man. I don't know if she does what she does, but she like all she like, I mean, she's like Critical K, but she's not, she's like Critical K, but she's not as articulate. You know what I mean? Not nearly as articulate, not nearly as smart. And I say that reluctantly, but it's the truth. She's just not nearly as smart. And what she does is she just tries to create controversy because it's too difficult for her to actually make any sense. She can't get views by just simply making sense, So she has to go the controversy route.
He disagrees with me all the time, dude. What are you talking about?
You know what? If anybody else in the community had this reaction that Ryan has had, they'd be treated totally different, Laura, and you know it.
Yep,
I would be saying the exact same things I'm saying now. Just
I
like
don't
I
know.
called them out before anybody else.
You're kissing his ass because you're hoping he'll jump on your panel.
I would have to agree with the glare on that one. Like, I feel like even when Molly Golightly had Ryan Upchurch in that panel, it was very deliberate, right? Like, I was just amazed by what narrative was allowed to push based on that. That was not cool. Dance Pig says AWP has been doing a PR tour of the channels pushing foul play narrative. Can you say a little bit more? Because I've been noticing that too. So then, see, and that's really dangerous to do, because then what's going to happen is you're going to have AWP, who's, you know, was very well applauded by the situation, right? And what if there was no foul play? And I'm just going to say that. What if, right? Let's play the devil's advocate. And AWP inserted something or said something. Like, I'm a little concerned about this situation with AWP. Dan, say a little bit more about this in the comments, please.
Day and get you views. That's
I've
the
already
only
jumped on her
motivation
panel.
you have.
Call them out. Who called them out?
The only motivation you have, Laura.
Yep, you are the only person that called me out the right way with
Thank
actual
you.
conversation.
And he's only doing that to try to troll me.
Better fucking apologize. I called him out for anybody.
Church doesn't give a fuck about Laura, bro. Like, he's only doing that because he thinks it bothers me that he's going, yeah, Laura, you're the only one that mama, because he does that all the time. And then he treats everyone that he was nice to on panel like shit later. It's really funny.
She didn't say that.
No, she talks really nicely to you, and that's why you haven't jumped at her.
No, she's actually cussed me
People that
before. What are you
speak
talking
in a
about?
blunt way. I haven't disrespected you at all, and you called me a dumb heifer.
Well,
So
I haven't since I got on this panel. I've made plenty of videos.
I don't even get along with the
I haven't
glare,
seen
and
any
it
of your
pains
fucking
me to
videos. I know
fucking
the
get
fuck you are.
Yeah, you know that's not true. You know that's not true because you've addressed me directly many times.
like
So,
a whole bunch of times.
Yeah, I don't
We
watch
know
your
you're
fucking
lying.
shit
We
videos.
all
What are
know
you
you're
talking
lying.
about?
We all know you're lying because you've addressed me several times.
Look, see, now he's making it about him. See, perplexed. I just tricked his ass into making it about
Oh
him.
my god, this is so. You're so tricky, Ryan. You got one up on all of us. You're so tricky, buddy.
Yeah, you're a fucking heifer. Shut up.
See, now you see that response, Will? Like, that response tells me all I need to know.
Yeah, you're a fucking heifer. Go look in the mirror.
I would have been booted off for doing that like
Absolutely.
an hour ago.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And this is where, when the glare said, you know, I know he's passionate, and this is where I feel like I'm concerned about calling this being passionate. It's one thing to say, you know, somebody's really invested in this case and they really want to see a certain outcome, but that's part of the issue, is when people want to see a certain outcome of a case versus just allowing things to play out the way they need to. And that's just my thought and my opinion on that. Angie, you just made a really good AWP says they have 2 more videos that they will release depending on where the investigation goes. And see, AWP should not be like, you should not be promoting that. Period. You should not be saying that there's 2 more videos that you have. Please keep that to yourself. That's, again, that hinders the investigation. That allows people to think that there's more to this, or that something else is like. Give those videos to the authorities. Allow the authorities to handle that, right? And shout out to them, to AWP. Like, I'm not trying to take away from that. I personally feel like we need to be very careful. Think about it this way. I got 158 people here, right? Or 50 or whatever. If this was your child, how do you want that case to be handled? Something happens to your child and people on YouTube are discussing it. How would you want the authorities to handle it? Would you want a bunch of YouTubers talking about it this way? That's the piece that I feel like, unless you're in that, you really won't know.
Well, yeah, because no one gives a fuck about your shit channel. No shit.
Well, no, I think it's more because we have more concern because you have 3 million subs.
Yeah, and you have
what you say, people listen to. Because you know why? Because people listen to you and they fucking take your word because you're a celebrity.
And Glare over here can't get a fucking functioning relationship, and it's all fucking obvious.
But he doesn't watch me.
You can't have a
I can tell by the way you talk.
You can't have an adult like discussion though without getting in your feelings about having your feet held to the fire about the things you've said.
Right.
Like
what? Like calling this a GoFundMe scam and thinking that you're entitled to these documents.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I hate agreeing with her too.
We're done.
I gotta be honest. I hate agreeing with her too. Like, I can't stand that woman. She drives me crazy. This whole panel is just full of shitheads.
There's no point in the shit.
I don't think it's a GoFundMe scam at all. This, I mean, like I said, her mom was sitting there bawling, and I thought you agreed and was, you know, related to this case because her mom was so upset and because you had a younger sister that this is what you said in your video.
You're the lady on Molly Go Lightly. I don't care about nothing you say.
No, I'm not. I don't get along with Molly. I don't get along with Molly at all. No, I do not.
People laughing about a dead little girl. Isn't that fucked up?
No, we're laughing about Molly.
We're laughing at you.
We're laughing at you, Ryan. Nobody's laughing about Kylie. We're laughing at you.
Try to twist it, babe.
Look at you, dude. You got noodle arms. You fucking go to the gym probably, and your life sucks. You can tell in your face. You wish Ryan Upchurch watched your shitty fucking videos.
But he knows Ryan Upchurch watches his shitty videos.
Yeah, he does. Right? Because he's.
And that's why I don't use the word passion, right? Because this is what, to me, in my opinion, Ryan Upchurch really showed himself to be this person that is attracted to not having the best interest in the family or in the case. To me, this is what you would call drama, right? And causing the chaos and then allowing people to feed off of it. And people are feeding off of this, right? Because there is some level. I mean, shoot, I've monetized my video. People want to hear about what's been going on. For me, I'm like, what if we give a little bit of an objective or a different kind of point of view? Because I think that this is real life where you have a child that went missing, and I call her a child, and really she's, what, 16? And this is such a tragedy that happened to her. People have to bury people, and here we are fighting. And at the end of the day, what does that bring? What light, what goodness does that bring to the memory of Kiely Rodni? Probably nothing. Probably nothing. But it brings everything to someone like Ryan Upchurch. And that's the truth.
How long you had your true crime page?
I'm really glad that you asked me that. I don't try to solve crime cases.
Then why do you have a true crime channel?
I collect facts made available to me.
Nah,
and
you spread drama like a little girl.
Opinions on
You're a beta male. I can
That's
tell.
what I do, and I call out people like you.
You're a beta male.
I call out people like you who do.
What's a beta male? I'm so behind this. Like, what does it mean to be a beta male? Because that's another thing that I'm like, why? These terms that I'm like, it's almost like this, like after school lunch break or something, like a high school thing. You're this. That's why you're doing this way. This is why you land this way. Versus having an adult, mature conversation. I understand what the Glare says. I can't do panels. I would have to agree. I don't think I could do a panel like this. I literally would have to. I've been on panels where people are arguing with each other, and I sit there and I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of here because I don't want to be in the midst of this kind of conflict. Number one, I don't do well in it. Number two, it doesn't serve me, period. Tanya, I would have to agree. I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinions. Absolutely. Love it. Love that you said that. And then you guys are making opinions about AWP. And I really do think that they need to learn from this situation. Be careful who you talk to on YouTube because people are going to make something off of it. They've talked to a lot of YouTubers. I never reached out to them because I really wasn't following the case like that. Number one is, what kind of questions would I have for them? You would have to really, for me, it's like they're going to be releasing information as it comes. But I really don't like the fact that, like, I think it was Angie who said it, that there's 2 other videos. Why do we need to know that there's 2 other videos that potentially are going to be, released to law enforcement, depending on how the case goes? Shouldn't everything be with law enforcement, period? We really don't need to, know that. Yaya Cat, are you talking about my trauma? Remember when you first remind me? Hold on, let me show my face right now. Yeah. Remind me to do a reactionary video. I have to do that. I just don't have that video. I have to do a reactionary video of that night, and I will do that at some point for everybody that's been asking for it. I don't do well when people are arguing. I'll leave. I'm out. So I don't blame the Glare. Like, shit like this, it does give me a headache. I'm like, this isn't getting anywhere. I don't like this.
Things incredibly irresponsibly that affect the families of these victims.
Whatever.
You have 3 million people.
I know you're in Nashville. Why don't you come pull up and face my face?
Oh my
I'm
God.
not in Nashville, actually.
Wow. All right, well, bring your ass down here. I'll give you money. You'll come say it to my face.
You're saying that he's in his feelings, but now you're
again. It's almost like a man child. I'm just being honest with you. Who tells another man, why don't you meet me over here? Go show your face. Like, I'm just like, what? If this is how you show passion over a case, by then promoting that you guys meet up, so then there's violence. Who does that? I could not with this. Oh my god.
So
Now
you
he's
want to
picking
fight
a
it?
fight
Proving y'all are all bitches and
like he's
liars.
literally picking a physical
Like
fight.
this is the argument of a 10-year-old that
This
has
is
not been
exactly
in his
how I
way.
pictured it, but he was worried about me starting drama.
All
Too.
fairness,
Exactly.
Proving me
Hold on.
right.
I've been in Ryan's position where I'm on a panel and I'm being attacked
God,
by
dude.
6 fucking people. I get why he's
At this
looking
point,
out.
every
I've
time
done
Laura
it.
opens her
Laura,
mouth, I'm like,
Laura,
oh,
Laura,
Jesus
he's
fucking
been
Christ.
he brought himself up here, okay?
Yeah.
And people tried to speak with him respectfully, and he's stomping his feet and like taking his ball home, kind of shit.
She's
Don't
right, though.
don't even
Like,
try
look,
that. The stuff that's happened to you, Laura, is
is
way
right. I'm
different.
sitting here. It's 1 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Love that she's trying to compare herself to him. It's
and
so
y'all still
funny.
losing. If I was y'all,
Nobody's
y'all
trying to
can't tell me
harm
nothing. Why?
Ryan. People have tried to harm you, Laura. That's totally different. People have doxed you, Laura. Nobody's trying to harm Ryan.
Laura,
People are
if you-
asking Ryan why he says the things he does, and he gets mad about it.
Being on a panel and being attacked by a majority of the panel, you're gonna snap back. That's
Oh
all.
my God! Now he's like he's raising his arms like he's the victim here. This is ridiculous.
I'm not the victim. I'm the winner. What are you talking about?
Ridiculous. I'm
Oh,
the
I
winner.
forgot. Winner,
I'm sitting
winner,
here
chicken
watching
dinner.
you
You're the
buffoons.
millionaire, and we're
That-
fucking slobs and peons and whatever. Yeah, I get it.
May
Why
I
don't you show
say
your
something?
face?
Hey,
Yeah,
so
sorry.
what I think happened was that initially that the story it's a real story. It was an accident, and like all these people just started doing all this stuff for money, and it's different groups of people. It's not that they're not all together. You know, it's like IckedMel was with Ronnie and Xaname or whatever, and then Ryan's butting his head in here to get his little piece of notoriety. And then
I don't need notoriety from this dude. What are you talking about?
Then you got all the true crime people on here that are just milking this story like they milk the other stories. And all these people, if you follow the 90% of the narrative where, oh my God, this is horrible, and you're like, it has to be murder, or it has to be some various actions going on. And
it is. What are you talking about?
People send you money. Your channel
Thank you,
grows.
Element
And then you got the cops. They spent $500,000. Everybody got overtime. All the cops got overtime. Everyone in the community that was a cop got extra money out of this. And then next year they say, hey, we spent $500,000, on this, and we get a bigger budget next year.
Do you know how a community works?
I was really confused by that argument about people made money, like the police made money. Well, I mean, they're getting paid for their services through taxes. Can somebody explain to me the logic behind the person that was making that argument? I couldn't quite understand that. Like, were they trying to say that this was a big scam? I really was confused, and I was thinking somebody could probably better explain it than I can. I don't really know. I don't know, guys. Let me know.
I love that you guys think.
Thank you. Why do you think that all these stories are false? They go to a dead end because they're all bullshit stories. It's all made up.
Nobody said there was
so muddy in the
Why are
water.
you lying?
You can't see that.
No, because you're saying that the cops are in on this
water.
big conspiracy, right? The cops are all in on this big conspiracy to fake.
No,
this
it was an
kind of
accident.
death,
She was
right?
really in the water the whole time. They're making it
know
like
it was an
we're gonna
accident.
fall
You did
this
say that in
line.
one of your videos, in 2 of your videos, as a matter of fact, that the police lied. Like, now, fair warning, guys, there's only so much more of this that I can take. Like, I can't stand big panels like this. Like, I currently have a headache. I am physically ill from hearing Laura, literally. You got perplexed up here going, well, we have to question the police because, you know, how many times have the police lied? And so here you are going, yeah, listen to Laura.
AWP.
You also okay? He took his headphones.
All right, Frankie. Thank you, buddy. It's good to see you. I appreciate you being here. Grandmaster Sid Sophos, thanks, buddy. Glare, proud of you. Keep calm, man. Kept calm. Yeah, I had to leave. I'm not gonna lie. I had to leave.
Headphones on.
They sensationalized the interview with the tow truck driver. They implied everything. They go, I went out there for a battery call in a car. They show a silver Honda CRV. They go, I saw a blonde girl. Then they go, hey, they show a picture of
Now,
Kiely. It was
look
all
at him, dude.
suggestive, man. Everybody's
This
just
is what he wants
in
to
here
sue me
grabbing money
for.
off a young girl's
This is
neck.
what he wants to sue me for. He's sitting there making out with some girl, like, like that is the most childish shit I have ever seen, dude. Like, there's no way that I'm gonna be on a live stream on anybody's panel and just be like, and have to like be on.
This was pretty interesting. So he's like making out with a girl. Is that right, Upchurch? It sure as hell is. You can see him in there. He's making out with some girl, and the Glare is talking about that. Like, how the hell am I gonna be on this shit? Like, dealing with this man, and then this is the ish that he's doing. Period. And I would have to agree, Moonlight. I was really surprised that they said. I feel like they really should have just said less. I don't know. Tanya, say a little bit more about that. What smells like a scam to you? Tell me a little bit about that. Susie, I think it might be implied that the police made more money by working overtime on the case. I mean, they're working overtime, right? Like, it's not like it was what that told me. Clearly, AWP has a skill set that police officers don't, or those that are, going under there and checking things out, right? I mean, wouldn't they get paid more for I guess the overtime? But I mean, it just really does tell you that their resources aren't in the right place as a community, right? You would want to have somebody like AWP say with the police when they're searching for things like this, but I don't really know. I don't know. What do you guys think?
On camera and show me making out with some girl, like, that is so fucking weird, dude.
And it is pretty messed up.
I agree with you that I think it's been sensationalized and that it's an accident. I believe it to be an accident. I believe it to be an accident.
Why don't you think all these other stories are just bullshit stories, like the Ronnie thing? When Church got on there and they got an argument, IckedMel was probably like, "Oh yeah, this is great, man. This is great for my channel." And he may not have anything to do with Ronnie, or maybe it does. I'm saying that if there's everybody's jumping on this,
so gross,
how many
dude.
YouTube channels are starting out for crime for this case? It's ridiculous. It's all about everyone's grabbing money off.
It happens with every high profile case, and
man.
I talk about it every time there's a high profile case.
And like I said, if you go in chat, I'm a troll for saying this. But if you go into chat, I'm a troll for saying this. It's ridiculous. It's like, and they're like, they want it because people are sending them money. They're giving them super chats. They're giving them that. I'm like, YouTube is so small and minuscule on the face of this earth, and no one knows about this case if you're not on YouTube. Seriously.
Well, I mean,
I would no one.
That's just simply not true. This guy, I don't know who he is, but he's sounding like a total hypocrite. I don't know him. I don't mean to disrespect him really, because like I said, I don't know nothing about the guy. But what he's saying YouTube is such a minuscule thing, but here he is on somebody's panel on a minuscule creator's channel. He's on their panel, and on top of that, the other point he's trying to make, he's like, unless it was on YouTube, you wouldn't have even heard of this case. That's simply not true. Everyone was talking about this case. This case got national coverage. It got coverage on ABC, Fox News, CNN. It got coverage everywhere. And notice there's a reason why, mainstream media, like larger news sources, will only discuss things once in a while. And that's only when there's an actual development in the case.
That I would have to agree with, right? As far as the development with the case. Tennis says, I mean, who announced on the news that most donations were returned and holdout returned 25K anonymous donation? I don't know who announced that. And again, I don't want to spew that unless we have a receipt of that or a link to that. Can you tell me what news said that? And I can look into it a little bit later. Ryan changed his story about AWP after he realized that some of his followers also are fans of AWP. Of course. You don't want to lose your fan base. You don't want to lose them at all. What are you thinking?
There's no need to talk about it other than that. Until there's new developments, there's no need to go over the case itself. So you have all these people that are just, did Kiely have a seatbelt? What was going on there? Blah, 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 and it's just like, man, just stop, Like, can you think of this family just for a minute? You know what I mean? Can you think of this poor mother just for a minute? Oh, he's not going to sue me. That's he can't. Everybody's on you. Everybody who's on YouTube.
That's a very good point.
Everybody who's on YouTube.
Why are you so concerned? I'm like, they think like YouTube's this big freaking thing, dude. It's not. All these people everyone's just out using this case for their own benefit. And if everyone can't see that,
a lot of creators are. Yeah,
we're not solving anything.
Dude,
we're not solving a damn thing.
And I want to be clear. Who's on? I want to be clear. Am I exploiting? Absolutely. I'm exploiting that dipshit that's sitting right above me on that panel. Totally. I make no bones about it. Fuck that guy. If he's going to exploit a family, if he's going to bully a 16-year-old girl's family who they just lost their daughter, I'm going to fucking pick this guy out. Plain and simple. He's got a very large platform and he's stirring up a bunch of shit. And who knows how many calls and messages and posts and shit. I mean, these people can't even be on social media now because they can't even mourn their child or their loved one peacefully because of this dickhead. So
I love it. I love what he just said. He said, absolutely, I'm exploiting him. Absolutely. Ryan Upchurch will be exploited because of the ish that he's doing. What's wrong with that? Absolutely. I think you need to be called out on that. I don't agree with Ryan, but the Claire is a complete hypocrite. Okay. His channel lately is all Ryan and his ridiculousness, and all the Glare does is he repeats. I mean, and Linda, that's probably, I mean, that's your opinion about him. I completely understand. We respect the difference of opinion here. You will not get blocked for that whatsoever. But I mean, the Glare, if you're watching, this is feedback that you're being given by people here, and I'm sure he'll either do something or not with it, totally dependent on him. And I think this is feedback that people need to hear. But I will say this. People do need to call people out about stuff like that, because there are innocent people that are being like defamed over this. That's not cool. No, so I agree with that.
Oh yeah, fuck this guy. I'm gonna exploit the fuck out of him. You're repeating yourself.
Amen, brother.
But
the guy with the red emoji, dude. Amen. You're right.
I'm telling you, everybody, that's what it's all about, And then they're like, when Ryan Upchurch hits the scene, they're thinking, man, as soon as he hits the one channel, it blows up. The next channel he's on, it blows up. So I mean, it's just a big
everybody except Blair's
shit, man, and no one's really doing anything.
Who wants to take bets on how long it's going to take Laura to go live within the next, I don't know, 10
Why
minutes?
are you betting on a little girl's death, you fucking weirdo?
Yeah, man.
No one said he was betting on anybody's death.
He's betting on her going on there and talking about this little girl's death right now. Look,
no, that's not what he said at all. That's not what he said. He said, he said that you want to bet.
I did say he should have bet me, because this is what Laura normally does. Like, she got all up on his good side and whatever. And so what she figured she could do is she made a bunch of fucking, she shook things up. And so what she'll do is she'll jump off one panel. Every time I remember I opened my panel and she would jump on my panel, and then she made herself look stupid. And then she'd rage quit, leave, and then she'd go live, which is kind of what I just did. To be fair, it's kind of what I just did. I didn't necessarily rage quit, but I just got tired of it. And then when he said when I was in the chat and I wasn't going to go live, but when he said he was going to sue me, I was like, oh, I got to go over this. So yeah, that's why I'm live right now.
I didn't really know what rage quit meant until after I was watching this. I learned a new word, rage quit, something that you do. Now, let me tell you guys a little backstory about how I came about this situation, right? Because I also don't know a lot about Ryan Upchurch. I kind of learned about him in the last couple months or weeks or whatever. I watch IckedMel. And shout out to him. You guys make sure you check out his channel. I like his commentary as far as true crime stuff goes and reporting. And I saw, Ryan doing what he was doing as far as like the misspelling of his name and accusing him of all kinds of stuff pertaining to Kiely Rodni. And I was not cool. I was not cool with that. And I spoke on it. And because I spoke on it, I had a lot of people come into my comments. And then I saw him bullying Xaname. And then I spoke on that as well. And I had a lot of people commenting about that, period. So for me, that's how I found out about it. Now, I would have to say this, though, personally. I think that a lot of us YouTubers, number one, we do titles that are going to make you click on the video. My title is going to make you click on the video, period. That's my intent. I'm not going to lie to you about that, period. My thumbnails are made a certain way to make people click on the video. I do commentary on certain things so that people, understand kind of a different perspective, or they don't have to agree. They can disagree. And I like that. But I think that it's important to call that out there versus lying about it and say, it's not for a click and a view. Absolutely wrong. It's always for a click and a view all the time, because otherwise what makes you get monetized? What brings you to YouTube? A click and a view. So if anybody tells you different, they're lying to you.
Laura's going to go live right now is what he said.
Because I got
Don't
booted.
start.
I got booted.
Okay.
I also agree.
I got booted.
No, so let me
if you get booted again, I'll come on your channel.
Comment. Can I address the gentleman's comment about people using? There are people.
Yeah,
who
I was
use,
gonna say I was kicked on StreamYard too. So
everybody who's on YouTube who has a certain amount of subscribers is monetized, and yes, make that money. Why not? But do it ethically, where you don't victimize families.
Shut the fuck up with your
Oh my God, you sound like a bitch.
See, look at that. See what I'm saying?
Yourself
See, just hearing about moral behavior bothers these shitty, fucked up people. Just being even presented with it, just even being confronted with it at all, just like bothers the shit out of them. Fuck your moral bullshit, Laura, dude. You fucking put a padlock on your refrigerator and told the world about it so your kid wouldn't eat. The fuck are you talking about?
Oh, you know why I love this? Shout out to the Glare. He's in the chat. Claire, are you addressing Linda? Linda, I mean, she's got some stuff to say to you. Y'all, you guys address each other on the chat. Let it be what it is. Let me tell you what I love about this is the argument of morality as it pertains to YouTube and how we're supposed to do things and stuff like that. Personally, I feel I try to get myself away from that because God knows nobody here is holy for shit. You know, we just aren't, right? We're all motivated for different things, period. That's just how it is. But I do feel like that needs to, you know, call that shit out for what it is. There's no morality base here. If there was, we wouldn't be addressing each other the way that they are in that panel. Like, just crazy to me. Crazy.
Oh, no, that's
Look at his handshake.
I mean, am I wrong?
It's great.
No, it's
Am I
true.
wrong?
It's
like
true,
this,
though,
bro.
man.
Like she bragged about
It's
it.
true. That's what everybody's doing. They're making a buck off this thing.
A lot
and
of people are doing it.
and
Yeah,
they're-
a lot of
they're
people are
doing
doing
it
it very
under the guise that
ethically, sure.
they're doing it under the guise that they're solving a case.
But why not
Ryan,
use your
honestly,
YouTube
dude,
channel to spread
misread so
awareness?
much of the information that you got. It's ridiculous. Like certain things you make points on, like bam, I gotcha. It's like, dude, you misread that whole thing. That whatever information you got. I mean,
Misread
I want
what?
to use the example like with the car being listed on all the dealerships. The dude's trying to sell his car. They're going to list it everywhere. And all the other people, they get a cut out of it. The salespeople list the car. The online salesperson gets a cut out of it. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
15 different
There's a lot
dealerships?
of stuff that's just dead ends because it's a bullshit story.
15
Uh-oh,
different
you're
dealerships?
skating on thin ice calling Ryan out to be wrong.
Hey,
So
I'm
you better be
calling
careful.
everybody out.
God forbid you do that.
I'm calling
Different
everybody
dealerships?
out that's talking about this case and under the guise that they're trying to solve something or they're trying to bring something
Agreed.
to light. Give me a break, dude.
Yeah, no one's trying to
Yes,
solve anything over
everyone
here.
will say
Nobody.
it
Hey,
could
Claire,
be an
let me-
accident. It could
Myself,
be an
Queen
accident.
Bee, like we're more about
Go ahead.
debunking bullshit like that people come up with like the sinister fucking tales in their head. They come up
No,
with
you're not. Otherwise, you'd be debunked
Ryan?
right now, but you're
There
not.
is
You're wearing a
conspiracy.
Ryan, I've
fedora
debunked like everything you said about the
Thank you
fake
for
sheriff
having me.
station,
You
the
can
fake
say that
sheriff
with your
stations,
cow
and the
neck if you
chop
want,
stop.
To be fair, I don't think anybody's like, I don't see anybody debunking anything. I think that the best thing to do right now is to sit back and allow the investigation to happen. Absolutely. Don't exploit. It's one thing to talk about a murder case and bring light, right? Or even report on it. It's completely different to say and create these theories that don't have any actual merit to them. They're just theories, and it's very, very dangerous. Period. We have to be very careful, and I would have to agree with that. The other thing too is this idea that you're necessary for the exposing of a situation. Who said or who told you that you were necessary for that? And how do you know that you're not doing more harm than good in that situation? Just a question, right? And I'm not trying to get like all philosophical about this shit. Trust me, I am beyond any of that. But it's a good question to have. How do you know that there's more good in this situation than harm or harm than good? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let's keep playing this.
The chop shop.
Oh, the fake sheriff station was my favorite. That was
That was my hands down favorite next to the chop shop. The chop
That's
shop
what
and
I
the
said. You
sheriff
misread
station.
a lot of
Those are my favorite.
information. You
And the
misread a
news
lot of
station, the news
information
station that wasn't a news station, even though it had.
Right.
Yeah, let's get back to talking about Kylie. Come on, let's get back to talking about Kylie because that's what this is about anyway. So let's do that. I want to get back to that.
There's
If
nothing
you
to
hate
talk about as far
Ryan
as
so
Kylie
much,
goes.
Claire, then why are you always tagging him? Why are you always using his name?
Yeah, Blair.
Because what he's doing is
clout to make
irresponsible.
money.
Where have you,
That's
have you been
Blair's
in the
my little
conversation?
bitch and I pimp him out. That's why.
Because we're allowed to call the shit out. Like why can't we call it out for what it is? What's wrong with that? Shout out to keep doing what you're doing, Claire. Whatever. Like clearly somebody needs to say something about it. Why is it okay for him to do what he's doing and not call him out, on it, period? I don't get it. What's wrong with telling him like you're wrong for this? You're going up, you're victimizing more people, and then you're including other people in the mix of it. What's wrong with that? Keep doing it.
Because what he's doing is irresponsible with his platform, and it's victimizing her family.
Oh,
Any family
and
of
your buddy?
any
Your
family
buddy
of any
over
case
there?
that he's talking about.
What about your
And
buddy
this is
over
where they
there
always
says, "Oh,
they
I got
always
this
do
from an
this.
anonymous friend."
They always do this. Like they always do this. This is how you know this is a pure fucking drama channel, because they always want to throw Annie in my face. I don't speak on what Annie should or should not be doing because her and I are friends. There are certain YouTube creators that I speak to that I am friends with. And when I'm friends with them, once you become friends with someone, you owe them a certain amount of respect. They owe you a certain amount of respect. And if I have an issue with what she is doing, I will discuss that with her in private. It's none of your fucking business. Nobody in this chat, nobody on that panel, it's nobody's fucking business how I feel about what Annie is doing with her channel or anybody who I consider a friend on this platform. Plain and simple. And I stand by that, and I'm going to continue to stand by that.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, Annie said that 10 to Life has done incredible.
Right about that.
To an incredible amount of cases. 10 to Life has done a lot of damage.
Exactly. All right, let me.
So if you're going to call somebody out, you need to call her life out.
I've said it on my channel, and I'll tell you guys this, and I'll say it once. Okay, if you guys are a friend of mine, just like Annie is, I will confront and discuss my issues with her in private, not publicly, because we are friends.
Right, and in private, and that's fine, but you can't come out here publicly and sit here and say she got bullied and we bullied her off the internet and shit, because that never happened.
When did I say that?
And to say, you said, go watch my, listen.
No, I said.
You know what, Granny? That happens in every sector, period. And I'm saying this by experience. People want you to handle things publicly, especially when they're your friends. I've had that happen to me several times, or call people out on ish. When you have a friend in this community or somebody that you relate to or you respect, and it doesn't even have to be a friend, but if I have had communication with a content creator and I don't agree with what that person is saying, I might communicate with them and say, listen, I'm going to do some content pertaining to what you said because I don't agree with it. I'll do that. If it's a friend, right? Like, I'll definitely talk to them and say, okay, this is kind of where I'm at. This is how I'm going to handle it. But it doesn't always have to be publicly, because then that's how ish happens. Why can't we handle things like adults and just have a conversation and not necessarily have to expose that ins and outs out here? It doesn't have to happen that way. People have set these standards for other people, and we don't. If they're not living up to our standards, why do we have to live up to their standards? It's weird. I don't know. Let's keep going.
I watched your video, Captain. I watched your video.
You said that in your last Michael Long video, and then you turned around and when you went, the video I made about you going at Ryan Upchurch.
The Michael Long thing, like the whole Michael Long thing, just really chaps their asses, man. It's really funny. Like, these people just love to fucking dwell on that shit and like, oh my God, he's a fucking abuser and blah, 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 when there's no evidence of it. But I'm not going to get into that because I don't have any new information. Like I said, once Michael Long, and I'm going to stick to this, once Michael Long, because I still support him. I don't support everything he's done, but I still support Sophie and her claims. I do believe her. And if Michael Long contacts me from jail, I'm going to talk to him. I haven't heard anything yet. It's just that simple. Once he does, I'll discuss it. But
and I am not familiar with that case whatsoever, so I'm not even going to speak on that. I know that it caused a lot of mayhem here. I get it. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. Let's go.
I shouldn't be doing this on YouTube. If you guys are friends,
no, and I agree with that. No, right? I agree. So I agree that you should call Annie out. Listen,
why in the shit did this become about Annie? Why are we talking about Annie? Right.
But listen,
that has nothing to do with
Will.
How did this?
What I'm saying about the Annie subject, yeah, I get it. Like, we need to move on from it. But what I'm saying is, I understand.
What happened here was,
I understand.
So far up,
bro, if I can let her talk.
And she's
you don't know shit about me. You don't know shit about me because my
trying to deflect from Ryan answering the question.
No, but it's not. But I'm not kissing Ryan's ass.
I know you're not. Laura is. Laura's the only one out here doing it.
What I'm saying to you,
everybody, all of us.
What I'm saying to you is, I understand that you would hold her accountable in private, and that's the respectful thing to do. Being that you're friends, you're not friends with Ryan, so you're not going to do that. I get that. But what you did in the video. Okay, fine. But in the video, I'm just going to finish what I'm saying, though, Will. Let me finish what I'm saying. You lied in the video and said Annie doesn't spread misinformation. She only asks questions. And that was not true. It was the day after she reported Kiely Rodni being found, and the little girl was not found.
She wasn't. That was the big thing, yes.
Okay, that was the only thing that I wanted to say.
I muted him. Hold on, I muted him. Here.
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, Ryan, when are you going to...
Do you see, and I think that Ryan tends to thrive when people are in conflict with each other. The man is just laying back on his chair, the gaming chair. He doesn't give a ish about that. I mean, he likes this. He's getting a rise out of this. Come on now. He likes this ish.
Donate the money that you said you were going to donate.
It's none of your fucking business, Clara.
See, why does she keep jumping to his defense?
Yes, why?
When are you going to apologize to this girl's family? When are you going to apologize to IckedMel? When are you going to apologize to Xaname for accusing them of
You're
murder?
gonna apologize to everybody about the long case.
Laura, shut the fuck up.
Oh, you shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you shut the fuck up, Blair. Why don't you get that fuck out, you little bitch?
Apologize to everybody about the long case, Mr. Righteous.
We're talking about the Kiely case, aren't we?
Talking about something else. You're right.
Yeah, I know I'm right.
Exactly. He shuts his fucking
All you're
mouth
doing
on
is
something
deflecting.
like
I love. When in doubt, just shut the fuck up. That's this is why I can't do panels either. I would be out of there. I've been like, listen, you guys can hash it out, do what you gotta do. I'm out. It is what it is. Everybody can just let it have it. Let it have it.
And you're doing it to defend and kiss his ass so that somehow you're going to win favor with him. And everybody can see it. Everybody can see it
more times than you have, Clara.
No wonder there's no girl in the background of your fucking videos.
Now, here's where it gets interesting, folks. What, really? That's
yeah, really.
How old is that girl, man? She looks awful young.
What are you talking about?
Anyways, okay, so
okay.
Talking about Kiely Rodni?
No. The one you're saying that I don't have a girl in the background of my videos? Like, what are you talking about? Like the girl that you just had in the background of your video?
What about her?
Okay, so why are you bringing that up?
What about her? Did you just oh no, did you just insinuate she was underage?
I just asked a question.
Oh no.
All I did was ask questions, right?
Claire, you're kind of messy for that one right there. I will have to say that. That was a pretty messy thing to have that. But it's funny. And nobody in the you're absolutely right, Joseph. Nobody in the panel was talking about the case at the end of the day. I don't know. I was like, did you really have to ask about that? Just saying, you really didn't have to.
Now, so anyways, now the reason why I brought that up was because how fucking old are these people, dude? How old are these people if they're going to fucking sit there and make out on a live stream? Who the fuck does that? Who the fuck does that? That's what I meant. It was a level of maturity that was clearly lacking. But that's what he thinks he's going to sue me for.
Yeah, Claire, but the girl wasn't on the panel. She was just making out with the dude. Like, you didn't have to say all that. I'm serious. I was like, did you really just say that? I don't know. But I would have to say, though, like, I appreciate you putting him on check and calling him out. I would have to say that, Mike. He did call him out. He said, listen, but at the same time, I'm like, man, the girl's just making out with the dude. Like, it is what it is. I don't know.
Anyways, back to the thing. The AWP sensationalized the whole interview with the thing, and if they did it just to
hang on, I'm gonna go get her so she can say her age for this dumb phone.
Oh my god!
At the normal lake.
Oh god, damn it!
If they didn't want to search at the normal lake like their normal stuff is to do.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
I asked what I wanted to ask, and I got exactly the answers that I expected to get. So thank you, Queen Bee, for having me. I'm gonna jump off. Appreciate it.
This guy can't get any girls and shit like that. Will you tell them how? Oh, he left. Tell him how old you are.
30.
Thank you. Love you.
I love it. I was like, well, at the end, it's kind of hilarious, just a little bit. But let's have a serious talk about this, okay? Let's say that the glare, okay? Let's just say that let's just put the glare, okay? Let's say that he decides to run some type of a crazy ass narrative over this situation by saying, Ryan, that girl looked like she was underage. She must be underage. And then the glare decides to, I don't know, zoom in and alter some of the pictures that are in this panel where it shows that he's making out with the girl. He could do a bunch of things. And that's exactly what Ryan Upchurch is doing, right? With the Kiely Rodni case, with Xaname, with IckedMel, with the Rodney, like all these people. He's permitted to do that. But the minute that the glare asked that question, immediately, even my reaction was like, why the hell did you do that? Because it's not like him, right? But it does show that the minute that you say something different, if the glare was that guy to say, you know what, that girl looks like she's underage, immediately people would be saying, well, the glare is smearing him. The glare is doing this. Now Ryan Upchurch is the victim. Now his character is being defamed. But if it's somebody like IckedMel, the glare, Xaname, some other person, it doesn't matter. Or even Kiely Rodni, because she doesn't exist. That's the other side to that. We never really look at the other side of somebody doing the same to you, right? So even though I was like, I didn't really like that, didn't appreciate that, I do feel like it's a good example of what people will do and how you need to be careful, period. Shout out to everybody in the chat. So we are going to end our stream. I'm going to put the channel in the description box so you guys can go check them out. I believe some of you guys have probably already subscribed over there. Shout out to him. I think he's got another live stream going on. If you guys want to go check him out, feel free. Thank you, Blair, for letting me use some of this footage for commentary. And thank you guys for subscribing and sharing. Thank you. I'm out of here, guys, because we've been live for quite some time. And let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments, okay? I am out. Let me find my exit door. Where'd it go? Here it is. Bye, guys.